Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girls is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Den Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now our captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
I want to give a big bless up to the Reggae girls out there. They ain't believe in us. John did. Reggae girls, keep winning, keep inspiring. I know you're going to be great out there. World Cup. Sadella Marley, number love. Bless up from DJ Khaled.
And I'm representing for the Reggae girls. You know what I mean? Big up on yourself every time. Especially if you're qualifying for the World Cup back to back. You know what I mean? Sidela, big up yourself. One love every time. You know the thing go. Blessing off a flow like a river. Blessing off a flow like a river. What the Reggae girls do? Left them name night earth like a queen. Me have to big up the top soccer team. You know Massacre represent. Jamaica supporting it every time. You know the thing go.
Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I feel like I'm from UK, you know.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best. Davis, take it away.
My followers, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning. It all depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. It is really it is an early morning. It is 2:45 a.m. So I'm trying to be very mindful of my volume so that I don't wake up my neighbors or worst case scenario, disturb my neighbors. That would be the worst part. So if I'm speaking a little bit too quiet, let me know in the comment section. And I'll see if I can increase my volume just a little bit before I forget my manners. I do apologize for not being able to do a live watch along. Also said I was going to give you guys a preview of the game from last night, but as I said to you guys already, I haven't been feeling well. And I just could not find the energy to give you guys those two live streams. So I do apologize. But to be honest with you, I might not have done a live watch along because I didn't do a live watch along for the first leg. So at best, you would have just gotten a preview from me. You didn't get it. So again, I do apologize. Let me know how you guys are doing in the comment section. If my background noise is bothering you, irritating you, let me know, and I'll make the necessary tweaks my end. So let me know how you guys are doing. How was your weekend? I'm now into my Wednesday morning, so firmly into the middle of the week, midweek, I should say. Middle of the week sounds a little bit weird. So yeah, I'm into my midweek. And I really couldn't let Wednesday come and not give you guys a live stream because I think that you guys deserve it. And I'm going to be talking about the Concacaf Nations League quarterfinal exit by the Reggae Boyz. I'm going to try to not take up too much of your time, not because I don't want to. I just don't have the energy. But I'm going to try and see how far I can get with the live stream. I have dropped the link to the live stream in the comment section. So if you want to pop on, you're more than welcome to. Just keep it friendly, keep it professional, be polite to myself, the guys in the comment section, and also if I have any guests with me, then also extend your politeness and your professionalism onto them as well. So where do we start? I'm trying to think of where to start with this review. Trying to be as fair and as balanced as possible. I guess the way that I'm looking at things, and again, I'm trying to be objective, but the way that my mind is processing things, and you guys, I'll allow you guys to realign me, correct me if I'm looking at it poorly, because we all have a pair of eyes, but it's inevitable that we're going to read the game differently, read situations differently. For the most part, some of you, or some of us, I should say, I include myself in that, probably watch football, but how much of you are actually paying attention? We're all going to read the game differently, in my humble opinion. Before I continue, though, I do have someone in my studio, a face that is pretty much familiar to you guys. So I'm going to bring him on before I proceed with the rest of my live stream, okay? Mr. Lee, how are you, sir?
Good. Good night, everyone. Good night. Yeah,
How's your
continue,
day
Krista.
been?
My day was good, just reflection. So funny. I called two of my friends today. He said I didn't even go to work today. I'm so depressed.
Really?
I have to cut. So I have to cut. So he actually went to the game,
Oh,
and he
wow.
was hoarse. He said he was embarrassed. And I have to say, yo, man, this is it's just a game. He was really depressed.
Listen,
Really depressed.
football. I mean, I wish I could give him I'll give him an air hug. I hope he's okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
football can get the worst of us at sometimes, the best and the worst of us at sometimes. I think the reason why a lot of people end up feeling depressed and sad, people who don't follow football or sports probably think it's over the top, but it's not. Because I think for the most part, a lot of people look at football as escapism. So you look at football to take you out of reality. So football's supposed to give you that upliftment. It's supposed to make you feel happy, joyful. And when it's doing the opposite of that, it's very easy for people to feel depressed and sad. That's just my interpretation of that,
Yeah, it was. I was glad that that me and him was able to talk, and I tried to take his mind off of football a little bit and talk some business, and
Yeah.
somebody come right back to football. But I think in the end, he felt much better. After we talk, and tell him it's just a game, and we're gonna get a lot of beating to get to the next step.
100%. But before I even get into the game itself, and I'm intrigued to hear your opinion as well. But I was giving this like several thoughts before I can kind of put my opinions together. But to an extent, I'm not sure, because I'm not part of the team internally, that is externally the 12th man, but not internally. I'm not part of the team, so I wouldn't know certain things. But for what it's worth, for what we heard in terms of a few player unavailability there. We had a couple of players who were out for injuries or personal reasons, stroke injuries, which we can touch on later on in the live stream. But it almost feels to me that we were unprepared going into the match. I'm not going to say beaten before we head into the match, but it definitely strike me as us being a tad bit unprepared. And the reason why I said that was at some point, I believe it was on the eve of the game, we all caught wind of the situation there surrounding Michael Antonio and Kaheem Dixon. And again, we're in a position where us as the 12th man over the last couple of weeks, if we stretch it back to the Reggae Girls camp, is something that's like a growing habit, a reputation of ours, not a healthy or a clean reputation. We're hearing now passport limitations, passport visa issues, passport being lost. And of course, any of those things can happen to any given person, the average human being. It can also happen to the players, especially passports getting lost. It can happen to any one of us. It's not an isolated situation. Anyone can lose their passport. But for me, it just feels like it's just all too common when it comes to Jamaica. Anything to do with passport and documentation and visa, it just seems that that conversation is ever present. And I'm really looking at the federation, even if they are not to be blamed, because again, I don't know what happens internally, but I am looking to the federation, and I'm starting to question, who is in charge, who is in charge of that whole process in terms of, I guess you could call it maybe the logistics. Maybe the logistics isn't the right term, but in terms of what I want to understand is, what happens to the passport and documentations of players pre and during camp. So pre as in the build up to their travels or passport documentation, paperwork and visas check. Do you have like a checklist where you go through the passport and documentation and say, okay, that's been done, I's have been dotted, T's have been crossed? And also, what happens when the players arrive on base in camp? Is there further checks that's being done? Are you checking to make sure that the information that was presented to you by the players aligns? Because me, for example, or a lot of people, they probably have a picture of their passport in their phone, and that picture could be outdated, but you might just refer to it if and when needs be, right? For whatever the reason is. So my thing is, in-house, what's going on in-house? Again, what happens when the players come in camp? I think when you look at teams like, let's say England, for example, players come in camp and it appears as if their passports handed over on arrival is then go through necessary checks, but potentially handed back to the players, or kept internally by whoever the appropriate person is. So I think the issue around passport and documentation and visa and all of that has gone on for so long that it feels as if something isn't falling into place where the federation is concerned. And that's not to blame them. It's not a blame game. It's not a point your fingers. It's what could be done differently. What should be done that isn't currently being done to stop these ever-present reoccurrence. And also, it might be a case of, again, it's not me trying to sound belittling or trying to throw people under the bus, but are you doing like the necessary training internally to upskill your staff so they know how to carry out the basics of job roles? Because it just seems to me that it's just a different day, same story. Again, passport can be lost at any point, but the whole conversation where we're looking at visa, even that whole topic there where we're looking at passports being lost. Yes, I understand if your visa was inside your passport, of course you're racing against the clock, but I feel like situations like that is avoidable at best,
Yes, let me second you with that. I'm glad you said that, so everybody who's listening, you're not blaming the JFF, right? You're not. Everybody has to be responsible for their own passports, right? Their visa. Here's the thing now: it's occurring too often. Visa or passport or something, right? When I'm traveling with my children, I have all their passport. Even my 21-year-old son, I have his passport. But dad, no, I have it. I don't want to get to the airport and no mishap. You understand? I I kept that with me. I give it back to him when we come back home. Um, the visa issue, I think that they like now going forward now, they should do a check on everybody's visa when it expire. If it's a thing like that, right? If it's a
Yeah.
visa and your passport expire, okay, let's do a check. Okay, Kaim need a visa. His visa expired 6 weeks from now. It's on a calendar. Um, so and so can't go to the US because he had to get this, that. You know what I'm saying? Have a
Yeah.
documentation of all that. I don't know if that's done, and I'm not gonna throw out blame. Okay. The problem is in occurring too often. I also heard from a birdie sometime when they throw out these passports and visa issue, that's not the case. There's something else, and they use that as a
Ah,
smoke screen.
now I'm glad you touched on that. I'm glad I like the reference that you made, the personal reference between yourself, your kids and their ages, and big up to your kids. I hope they're in good health and long may their good health and life continue. And
Yeah,
this
man.
is why I'm
Thank you for that.
saying you're welcome. This is why I'm saying that these, whether they're excuses, it just doesn't make sense, because it does. If you're giving us these comments as the reason why players are not playing and players aren't traveling. It does make you look incompetent. And I can only say make you look incompetent because I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know what's going on, you know? I'm again, it's not a blaming game. I'm just trying to make sense out of something that is too ever present, and it just seems like I can't even call it schoolboy era, because when I was in school and we're taking field trips or whatever, these type of things are not going to be happening, and it's not going to be reoccurring because every child's going to be responsible because they want to be on that school trip, so they know that their parental form would have been signed. If they're going overseas, they're giving their teacher the passport, the teacher is holding on to that passport for dear life. Visas have been checked, documentation's up to par. So if stuff like that cannot happen and will not happen, it does happen every now and then at school level, but the likelihood of it happening is like, it's almost as if it's impossible because people are dotting their I's and crossing their T's. And
Yes.
that is at school level.
Here's what happened I don't mean to cut you off. When I went to Jamaica 3 years ago, it was in February. My passport expired in April. And you know, they pointed out to me, I didn't even realize it. They pointed out to me, right? I get to understand that some airports don't take your passport if it's about a month to be expired. I didn't
I was
even know
going to
that.
touch on that as well. Yeah. It depends on the country and the airline. They won't
Yes.
take you in.
So when she told me that, I was like, oh my God. She said yes. All right. That was in February, April. So February, March, April. So it expires the last day of April, right? And I was
Yeah.
gonna do 30 days in Jamaica. Even when I was coming back, they notified me that your passport is about to be expired, right? And that's the first thing I did when I got back. I went and got, because I cannot be without my passport. You understand what I mean? The first thing I went and did, I expedited because I want my passport, because I thought it would expire June, but it was April. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
get it sorted out the moment I came back. So my point is this though, even the airport will point out stuff to you, right? And it's about to expire. The players, the JFF, well, not really. The coach, they should have someone check passports. The
100%.
players arrive, they were like, listen, the incident happened. We're not gonna keep your passport with you. We're gonna keep your passport in a lock
It's a
and
must.
key.
It's a
Somebody
must.
has it.
It's a must.
Somebody has it, right? When we
Yeah.
traveling through, I have other players' passport. You hand it, you know what I mean, you're to them. When you get out backside, somebody take the passport again and lock it up secure and safe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I'm
This don't
listening
happen.
to you, but I'm going to share something with you, which is why I say that I'm not blaming the JFF, but I am questioning the operations behind the scene and how it's done. I'm going to share something with you, okay? So just bear with me. Just bear with me.
I can't even see the comments. Let me turn on the other phone. I can see the comment section.
I'm
Go ahead.
gonna share something. I'm gonna bring up something. I'm just doing some screenshots just to let you guys see what I have in mind in terms of how things should be done internally where the Jamaica Football Federation is concerned, for context. And I came across something very recently. I'm going to bring it up on screen so that you can see it. And this is pretty much what I am referring to. I think I'm just gonna go off screen quickly. Let me open it up. Let me go and see if I can bring something up. Hopefully you guys can still see me. I'm gonna open a few images and then I'm going to just refer to them. And this is how, if you're talking about wanting to compete with the likes of the United States and Canada on a regular basis, putting your name in their conversations, it starts with getting things right off the field of play as well. You know, we shouldn't be sat here talking about Mikel Antonio can't play the second leg because of passport issues, passport being lost. So I imagine players arrive in camp and something quite similar to what's done where England is concerned, where you can clearly see they did a piece of content recently, and
Yeah.
it's like an alphabet content. So where if I said, I don't know, if I said J, you might say something like jerk chicken, something like that. So the letter that the content creator was on at this moment in time was P. And coincidentally, as you can see here, P was for passport, right? And this really piqued my interest because clearly he's come through the main entrance. He's coming into camp. P, passport, as in, do you have your passport? And he dips in his pocket. I don't know if you can see. He's dipping into his pocket, reaching for his passport. And then after that, he then hands his passport over to the lady that was standing right next to him, which you can then see in the second picture, right? So the lady then takes the passport. It's a video. I'm not going to play it for copyright reasons, but you can see where I'm going. He walks through the door. They ask
Yes.
passport. He hands his passport over to the lady, and you can see her like checking it. So I am thinking to myself, why can't, if something like that isn't being done where JFF is concerned, then that's the level that I expect, where you can avoid certain things from happening. But before you even get to that level, you need to be having discussions with these players leading up to camp. And I'm not talking 1 week before they travel. We're talking months in advance to check that their paperwork and documentation are valid and, you know, up to date and ready to travel. Right? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can.
So that's the point I was trying to make. Again, it's not about belittling anyone, but maybe it's a case of the JFF. If it is a case of, okay, they could be at fault, maybe not for this particular example, but maybe other examples in the past, then maybe it's an opportunity to upskill your staff. And to say that someone needs to be upskilled, it's not an insult. Everyone needs to be upskilled. I don't care how long you've been working for a company. If you're not willing to be upskilled, or that you're putting yourself at risk of being expired, because time waits on no one and the world is ever present, it's ever moving. Someone is going to come along that's better than you and more advanced than you because they're upskilling themselves while you're just being stubborn and ignorant. So upskilling yourself isn't an insult. It's just about improving yourself, and there's always room for improvement. No matter how good you are, the greatest of players remain great because they improve themselves, right? So I want to get that out of the way. In terms of additional players that were out for the game, Pinnock out through injury. Bobby Reed, I'm a little bit perplexed where Bobby Reed's concerned, because I thought the gaffer had said personal reasons in the press conference leading up to the whole match, but I'm sure in the press conference leading to the away match, he said injury. So I'm not really sure where there's kind of like a lack of consistency there. Maybe my ears, maybe I'm not hearing right. And then of course, Michael Antonio and Kaheem Dixon unavailable due to passport and visa issue. Now, in terms of the game itself, I'm not sure what your interpretation of the match is, but there is a lot that happened there where Jamaica is concerned. I'm not sure if there's anything that you picked up on from, let's say, the first 45.
So turn the game off halftime. Right?
Sorry,
Can you hear me?
repeat that for me. I'm struggling to hear you.
I turned it off half. Can you hear me?
Just about. I might have to put my headphones on.
Hold up. I gotta give me a second.
No, it's not you. I just needed to put my headphones on. I can hear you. I think he's doing something his end there, guys. So I'll continue to speak until he comes back, until he returns. So for me, before I get onto the second 45, I'll focus on the first 45. Quite a lot happened. Definitely where the USA is
Sorry
concerned.
about that.
No problem. You can hear me?
Yeah, I'm coming back in. Give me a
Okay. So yeah, as I was saying there, guys, first 45, quite a lot happened where the USA is concerned. But let me just focus on Jamaica for a bit, and I will also focus on the United States. I think Mr. Lee's having a little bit of an it's okay, let's see if I can bring him back on with a different.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
You echoing though. You are echoing.
I think you're echoing because you have to leave the studio. There's two of your phones inside the studio.
It's two.
Yeah, so I'm looking at two screens. I think you might have to leave and then come again because there's two screens for your name. Yeah, let's see what happens when he comes back. So yeah, in terms of Jamaica, I'm not really sure where to start with this one. Slow start, definitely different in comparison to what we saw in the home leg in Jamaica some days ago. Slow start, took a while for us to get going in terms of trying to generate our first chance. First chance came in somewhat the 20 plus minutes. So what that means is that clearly we were slow out the box. Now that is definitely concerning when you're already trailing 1 goal to the good. You would think that they'll have a flying start. So that was probably our first real clue as to how the game would pan out. And it was just one of those matches where I just felt that we lacked urgency from all involved. It's not about scapegoating anyone. I just think in general, the team just lacked a lot of urgency. Towards the 8+ minute there, you can see Shamar Nicholson just kind of like waving the players on or trying to encourage the players to pile on pressure because they weren't doing that. And that's included Shamar Nicholson as well. I think to large periods, particularly in the first 45, we were too bungalow up. And I think because we were doing that, that in turn played to the USA's advantage. And you could see just by doing little things like that, again, the lack of intensity, lack of pressure, the bungalow up type of style of football that we were playing, it just kind of said to me when we're looking at the first quarter of an hour that we just didn't come to play. Not really sure what the boys did had on their mind, but it was clear that you did not come to play. And your body language, the lack of performance, the lack of intensity, I think was evident of that. And for me, it's massively concerning because it's almost as if you're showing two sides of your character, and the second side isn't a good version of your character. And the reason why that is because some days ago when we went 1-0 down on home soil, the reaction was quite the opposite of what we saw in the second leg. So there was a lot of urgency, and you could see that urgency there from Shamar Nicholson winning the penalty. Unfortunately, Damari Gray couldn't tuck away the penalty from the spot. But away from home, there is a lot of question mark. We actually looked like the team that was already up by 1 goal and didn't really need to prove a point, where the USA looked the opposite of what we should look. And for me, one of my pet peeves with the Reggae Boyz is, I don't know if it's in our DNA, and I don't know, again, maybe it's just the DNA, the Jamaican way that we are at times, but I kind of feel like these guys, they're so guilty of coming across as the cool cats. And I don't mean that to be belittling, but they come across as being the cool cats because cool cat can have multiple meanings, but in the sense of they're just too relaxed. They're just too at ease. And I'm not sure how you can be coming across as the cool cats in the game of such high magnitude. So for me, it's just first 45s, I can see you're not serious. It's gone past 1 a.m. in the UK. It's almost as if you're wasting my time, but I'm devoted to being the 12th man, so I'm staying put. Definitely had Damari Gray's brace proved to be its worth in weight, it probably would have been a case of you don't deserve to go to the next round, because again, it took up until the 20+ minutes for us to create a chance, and that chance was created by Leon Bailey to Boza. So again, slow out the box, whereas our opponents, our host, the United States, hit the ground running, and they did so twice. They did so away from home, and they did so on home soil, home and away. So what that tells me from the USA is they meant business, whilst we were just there again, being far too relaxed and just looking like the cool cats, but not in a positive way. I don't know what you have to say with regards to what I
So
just said, Mr. Lee.
I'm gonna touch on what the first thing that you said, that man, a crew was talking about earlier, like they don't want to be there. Some of the players that they do not want to be there. I'm gonna touch on one player particularly. I'm gonna go through that. Fight for the shirt. Fight for the shirt. Act like you want to wear the shirt. Fight for it. Right? They're like I'm a superstar. You know, we superstar. Fight for it. The other team, the two last game we played them at home, there. Do you remember we almost beat them? It took a own goal to when what's his name score? My God. When Al Gibson was there and we shut them down when
Yeah,
Gregory scored that goal.
yeah.
And then when they went to Kingston again, right? I mean, Pulisic was pissed. They were in his face the whole time. He was mad. So we know they had revenge on their mind. We know they were going to come from the game goal, right? We know they were going to come. I went over a whole scenario and I have it playing in my head tonight. Like right now, I'm just trying to calm down and get to it. Coach need to take responsibility. That's true. But the players, they need to stand up. They need to take responsibility. Every single one of them. You need to take a responsibility. You have some play good and some doesn't do nothing. Some don't deserve to be in the field, period, out there, right? He should have realized from watching the USA play that some of these players are not up to par. I don't know if you agree with that. Some of these players is not up to par, right?
No, I heavily agree with that. Heavily agree with that.
They're not up to par. Then they're not supposed to be on the national team. And no disrespect to them if there's levers. There's levers to go to this thing, and they're not there. But the players need to step up and take responsibility, right? They need to step up. And I'm going for these freaking players. Bosa did the best he could. He did the best he could. He was up there by himself. And he did the best he could. Even in Jamaica, he was good. But Leon Bailey and Demarai Gray, for God's sake, Demarai Gray scored 2 goals, yes. But the last couple of games, he has been absent. He's been gone. I don't know if you agree with that or not, right? But Leon freaking Bailey, watch the first goal that scored. He's a dropping man. I mean, he's gone. I know he created a goal, right? He make a pass or whatever, right? But what else does Bailey do in the whole 90 minutes? The whole time he was out there. This is the marquee player. Bailey and Demarai Gray, get past your defender. Do something. If you're listen, Pulisic, Weah, and all these guys, right? If Weah hit the goalpost in the first freaking second or the first minute or what? Shouldn't we be on our P's and Q's? No urgency, no nothing. We don't know what happened or what's going on. I heard from some people that if you see when the US was warming up, it was intense and serious. These guys come to crush. They come to kill. Coach need to realize a lot of this stuff. The onus is still on him. But I'm saying to you, players need to take responsibility. They need to step up. Number one, we shot. We don't have Pinnock. We don't have, your Bobby Reed. Bobby Reed is an asset to this team. Pinnock is an asset to this team. Another thing, Christian, why you fly away with Morrison from so far, spend so much money, and you don't play him? Explain that logic to me, if you can make it.
There's so much there to piggyback off. I'm not really sure what the logic was behind that. I'm not sure. I'm trying to understand. I'm thinking, was it due to the arrival of the player? But then I could counteract that and say, if you have an issue with his, because you must have known the distance in which he's going to be traveling, and if you're concerned about fatigue and jet lag, why not just get a player that's already in the States? They're already there, so you don't have to worry about any jet lag. There's players there in the States. Just pick up one of those players, easy. So again, I don't really understand why you brought him back, the hype around bringing him back, and then he doesn't play. Because if it is about jet lag, then you've shot yourself in the foot. You've had a howler. There's too many howlers here. It's like, I can't say schoolboy error because schoolboys and schoolgirls are not making these errors. So that's an insult to them. It's just plain and
Yeah.
simple pathetic. It's just pathetic.
So, yeah, let me finish up this stuff now. So, Tariq McGee, no disrespect to him, this is not his level. This past his level. Tavon Gray had a bad game, and to me, I'm still have hopeful for him. I don't know if the formation, the setup, or what, but he was kind of exposed. He was making some mistake. I think he was nervous. He grew up with most of those guys. You know that, right? On the U.S. team. He played in the under 20 or under 19 with a lot, under 70 with a lot of those guys, right? Coach, he said something. Did you listen to Coach post conference?
I did not. I think I'll have to allow you to share your thoughts on that.
He said he stuttered and he did that. He's like he's worried about what people think, right? I'll play this and they say this and I play. You can't do that, Crystal. You're the man. That's why I come outside, because I know I'm gonna be screaming. You know what I mean? That's why I come outside. So if it's dark, y'all get. That's why I know I'm gonna be. The press conference he was like all over the place. Other previous press conferences, oh, Maran Garner give me this player. Maran Garner give you what? When he put on, remember,
Nothing. There's levels to this thing, Crystal. And I hope he realizes disrespecting anybody. Never dare disrespect any player. But this is the truth. You know, there's levels to it. That level. We got out punch everything. The coach need to no. Actually won the second half. US was chilling. Latibody here play good. But he's playing other positions. Zach Hayden played good. Good. Amari Bell was exposed. There's so much stuff that went. But the players, Crystal, have
We're
to
having
take
a little bit of a glitch from your. I'm not sure what happened, but I think you keep cutting in and out.
I think I know what it is. Now, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
It's when the power goes out.
Okay. Okay.
That's all. That's all I'm saying, right? I'm saying that the players,
yeah,
they have to step up and take responsibility.
No, I think you're right, and I think definitely obviously we know that context is key. But let's start off with one of the main players, because one thing about America and their main players is they stepped up. Captain America stepped up. These guys are stepping up and they're delivering. Even Weah coming back into the team, Pepe coming back into the team. These guys have stepped up.
And he has a bone to pick with us, because I'm not gonna say too much in the ear. Oh, his mom is Jamaican. Did you know that?
Oh yes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know his mom's Jamaican.
And the JFF situation. So he, because they ignore him. These are some of the little stuff that coach, the players, I know, right? When CFAS come on, See if I
I
start
think you're
play
you're
some,
you're cutting out again. I'm not really sure why it is, but you're just it's just a slight little cut. Oh, again?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but let's see if you cut out. Go again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I just took the what you call it. Yeah, I just wanted you guys to see me. I know I'm inside. I'm gonna wake everybody up because I get so passionate with this
No,
thing,
no,
man.
no.
You know.
It's okay. I can hear you, but every now and then, as long as the guys in the
No, I
comments
think I know what it is. Because it's when the power. Because I
as
have
long
it.
as the guys in the comment section don't mind, I'm good, you know. But let me try and like slow things down a little bit because you've touched on some really important points. Let's talk about Leon Bailey, because obviously, like I said, America's star boys, main boys, poster boys, they showed up. It's not the first time that they've done so. Leon Bailey, and actually before I continue, Pepe. Clearly, the United States did their homework on us because they were exercising almost their rite of passage. Literally, you know, they were tearing up our right-handed side, tested the left-hand side, but they realized there's a weakness there where our fullbacks are concerned, and they exploited that. And fair play to them. That's what happens when you do your homework. You identify someone's weakness and you exploit it. And they pretty much had us on ropes for 90 plus minutes. But if I look at Pepe as well, before I forget, clearly there's no homework, real homework there being done, or if your homework is being done, some of you players are hard-headed. But this is where I'm not going to blame the coach, because the coach, to be honest, he was kind of maybe honest or shot himself in the foot when someone asked him about the rivalry between the two, and he was paraphrasing saying that he hopes that the fan base know about the rivalry, which I thought was comical because of course we do know about the rivalry of the USA. Perhaps he didn't know about Pepe, and the fact that Pepe to Jamaica is like Didier Drogba to Arsenal. You know what's going to happen because he's shown you what he's capable of. So this is where I'm not blaming the coach or his backroom staff, because these players who have played the USA before, you should already have it ingrained in your brain what Pepper is capable of. You know his capabilities, you know his ability. When you look back at that game and you look at the acres of space that these guys gave to not just Pepe but the United States in general, it's mind-blowing. It is absolutely mind-blowing when you know what you're up against, you know the importance of the game, you know that you at least at these games where you're trailing 1 goal to the good, you need to have a flying start, you need to get out the blocks at ASAP, you need to at least put the ball in the back of the net. If you can't put the ball in the back of the net in the first quarter of an hour, rattle their crossbar, do something to get them nervous, but you did absolutely nothing. Now, from one star boy to another, where I look at Leon Bailey, one thing I picked up on with Leon Bailey is probably things that people have already stated about him. I think he did a few good things in the game. So I will give him credit, credit for example, when we went to having 10 men on the field due to Trevon Gray going off temporarily. I think he was, I don't know, he was doing something on the sidelines. I can't remember. I don't want to make things up. What I did notice is that during his omission, Bailey did drop back to fill the void of Gray, right? So Tavon Gray going off, Bailey dropped back to fill his void. And I also realized that Bailey knew that Gray needed help. So he was actually doing defensive duties, especially in the first 45. If anyone goes back and watch the game, you can see that Bailey was trying to track back and assist Tavon Gray, because clearly he did need the assistance. But I think with Bailey, especially with this game, it is showing that what that 1 year of absence has done to him. And in terms of his contribution to the front three, it is non-existent. Yes, he tried to pull a couple strings here and there, but it did not come to fruition. There is no relationship there between Starboy, the general, Leon Bailey, and Boza, and Damari Gray. And there's could be a number of reasons for that, but that 1 year of absence is speaking volumes because it's telling on ourselves. Another thing that one thing I should say that I didn't like what Bailey was doing is, you've been away from the team for a year, came out of the horse's mouth. He echoed that when he first came back for the game on home soil. So Leon Bailey, as an experienced footballer, should know that simplicity is key, given that you've been away from the team for so long, given that there is no synergy there between him and Gray and Boza. But instead, he goes for the flamboyancy of the game. So he goes for trying to give us slick passes. The slick passes isn't going to work because you have no synergy between you and the other two players, the front three, forming the front three. So I'm not sure why he was going for the slick passes. The idea was great, but I just think with Bailey, sometimes he's just guilty of not wanting to keep it simple. Sometimes they say in business, less is more. The less is more. Sometimes you don't need to overcomplicate it. But I think with Leon, he's guilty of overcomplicating things. I don't know what you
Yes.
make of that.
I heard that a lot from people. Do the simple one-touch pass, play stuff, right? And so I have a problem, and this is an issue. That's why I'm narrowing down. You see, I don't want to have the same friend that said that. I want people to challenge me. And we all have a problem with Bailey. They ask me, I want to replace him with. It's my answer to you and everybody. It's the coach's job to fix. I don't care who you is. If you're not, the coach just said, listen, doing. If that was a number, if that was anybody else, for that person's head, right, to be dropped. So yes, it's his touches. Just play the easy.
Think yeah, you're definitely chipping out because I thought it was just me, but DC in the comment section saying that you're chipping out. Big up yourself, DC. Big up yourself, Paul Watkins, Ducklin, Stennett, Jordan, LFC, DJ, Gigs. Big up yourself as well. Sorry, I didn't give you guys your shout out beforehand. It was not intentional. So it seems to be chipping out in and
It's
out.
me again. You talking
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but every now and then it chips out.
I am sorry, man. Yeah.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. That's okay.
So as I was saying though, right? So consistency from the star player, consistency from the market. I think just I don't care who you are, what name you are. Good. Have
What
a
is it?
sit
Is it a
down with him.
Wi-Fi issue? Is it a Wi-Fi issue?
You're still not. You're still not.
Yeah, you're
You're
still
not hear
chipping
me.
out.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're chipping out.
I'm chipping in and out.
Yeah. Yeah, you're chipping in and out again.
Can you hear?
Not really. It keeps going in and out.
All right. I don't know what it is. The other phone. All right. Am I good now?
It will work, but not for long. It keeps going in and out.
Keep going in and out. What?
I don't know if it's a Wi-Fi or it's a connection on your end that keeps going in
No,
and
it's
out.
not. I think it's the. I think when I take it off, I think um the Bluetooth going in and out. That's why it is.
Okay, maybe do you need to use the Bluetooth?
No. I think that it's going in.
Yeah,
Am I better now?
it's going.
All
No,
right.
it's still the
Let
same.
me set up back. Let me set.
All right,
Up back
I'll
this
allow
Bluetooth thing.
Mr. Lee to do that his end, and I will
Let me get that.
continue. Yeah, let me know what you
Give
guys
me a
make of
second, man.
what we're saying in the comment section with regards to the game. Let me know your thoughts on the game. I think we're probably now about to talk about the second 45s. I think we've spoken about the first 45, summarizing the first 45 as well. Yeah, heavily summarizing the first 45. Defensive nightmare, I think, is probably the best way to put it. Right hand side, awful. That's the side I think that's the side I think was attacked the most. And I think for the most part, our defense looked like Bambi on ice. I don't know what Mr. Lee makes of that, but the defense is just atrocious. on the ropes a number of times during the first 45. And as I said, the United States identified a weakness and they exploited that for much of the first 45 and also periods of the second 45. Second 45, it's a bit of a shame because what we saw by the 55th minute in the second 45 is what I expected from the opening 45 in terms of the opening first minutes of the first 45. I'm not sure what Mr. Lee make of the game, but for me, the substitution, timely substitution there of Richard King definitely needed. He is a player where I was watching the game and I did not need to identify him because he made himself known. His presence was definitely noticeable, especially in the early stages of the first 45. Around the 50-minute mark, I believe he made a pass to Gray and then Gray made a pass to Nicholson. So for me, that's like instant impact. The penetration almost paid dividends through King's efforts. But unfortunately, it took a little bit of a momentum building for us to find the back of the net. Those are the brace there coming from Damari Gray. So for me, good substitution there from King. Also, Cephas coming on, helping to energize the game. Gray scoring from the rebound there to complete his brace. Too little, too late at that point, but there was some two positive substitutions there again, where Gray and also Ronaldo, King and where Cephas is concerned.
Okay. I mean,
Yes, I can hear you.
yeah. Those CFAS inject. Well, the thing with CFAS, you gotta have CFAS inject life. Everybody kept talking about King. So the player thing, King just came on. CFAS did good. Isaac Hayden. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good. Lati Bodier did good. The time. Isaac Lati Bodier. So I have to give. Even though you know me, he needs to do more. You got to give him. But King, Cephas, and Lati Bodier. Guys were there. Now Amari too bad. If you look at the rate, they gave what's the name at 8 points. They gave the next one to him. Then Lati Bodier. Everybody else is down. And something. The
Out
coach
again,
brought
Mr.
it up.
Lee.
Can you hear me?
It's chipping out again.
What on earth is this, man?
It's just keeps chipping in and out.
So get away from the league. So leave and come back.
Okay. All right, guys. Why does it feel like I've shrunk? I look really small on screen. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna wait for Mr. Lee to come back. So yeah, again, let me know what you guys make of what's been said in the comment section. King, really pleased with King's introduction, early doors. Perhaps, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Who knows if he would have done the same had he started the game as opposed to coming off the bench. But early doors, as I said, instant impact. Brilliant to see him pinging a couple passes forward. I'm trying to pull the strings. I'm connecting with the likes of Damari Gray. So for me, definitely an appropriate substitution to make. The substitutions there of Richard King and also Ronaldo Cephas. I think they definitely added a bit of spark and some form of momentum to the game, which was absolutely necessary. Now, in terms of, and yes, obviously, I know people have been talking about Damari Gray and the fact that no surprise, too little, too late in terms of when those 2 goals there were scored, but yes, we do need more from him. But I'm gonna get onto Damari Gray before I close off on the show. For now, I'm gonna actually bring back Mr. Lee because I can see that he's back in the studio.
Yeah, this
Yes,
sounds
Mr.
better
Lee.
now. This sounds much better.
Yes, it does. It definitely
Yeah,
does.
yeah, it was something to do with the thing in the truck. So one thing, quick thing, I gotta bring it. So one big thing that happened, Dexter Lambrosisi, Kisa, he was missing. He played twice against Pulisic and locked him down in the game in the Nations League earlier this year. He shut him down. In the game in Kingston, he shut down Pulisic. And everybody was wondering why he didn't start. Coach said he had a thigh problem. If you go back and watch those 2 games, he shut down Pulisic in those 2 games. So that was the reason why what's his name started for him. Tavon Gray. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did you so they asked the coach why you started him? What was wrong with Mr. Lambrosisi? He said he was injured. He had a thigh problem. And so maybe for him not playing enough game for his club. You understand? That happened. But that is like I think we're also kind of bad lucky too. Right? We don't have Pinnock, uh we don't have Antonio, we don't have Bobby Reed, right?
Fair for us to say that while I agree with you, is it fair enough for us to say we ride our own luck because USA also had I'm getting an echo. I think what I'm gonna do when I'm speaking, you can I'm gonna quickly mute you
I'm
and
gonna
then
mute.
yeah, thank you. So as I was saying, is it fair enough for us to say that we kind of roll our own luck or ride our own luck? Because in the same breath, the United States had key players missing, but they still managed to get the job done. It was almost as if those players there that were missing and the ones that came in fitted in like a missing puzzle. I think that's something that we're lacking in terms of true quality, overall quality. And that's why I can't necessarily say that we were unlucky because I think this is a true reflection of where we're at in terms of, you said it before, there's levels to this. So I can't say that we were unlucky because had we perhaps, dare I say, recruited well, we shouldn't miss the likes of your Michael Antonio, your Ethan Pinnock, your Bobby Reed to a great extent. Yes, they are quality players, but in 2024, we should not be sat here saying that we were unlucky because X, Y. I don't think luck has much to do with it. I just think the players that we have, they're just not levels. No disrespect to them, but you're just not levels.
And I'm going to touch on leverage. I don't think Casey Palmer also. I think he reached where he needs to go. I don't think he has any more in him. Tariq McGee is not ready for this level. Romario Williams, no respect to the guy, but the level is just not there. Both are up front. He needed help. He needed the support, and he was not getting it. Right? He was not getting it. He was putting in the work, but if he's not getting the support, it's just So in terms of when he make the substitution, and because listen, halftime I left, I turned it off. I turned off halftime. And the reason why I have to go back and watch the game because I have to give an analyst after the game, and I just can't. You know what I mean? I can't talk about someone if I didn't watch the game. You understand? So when you listen to the coach's post-match press conference, he was like all over the place. He was like contradicting himself. It's like he's worried about what the media think, what you think, what I think, right? When he's saying so, let me ask you this. This is a question for me and you. You can answer anybody in the chat one, anybody in the comment section. He got out coached by a younger coach, right? Do you think that the game is past him a little bit?
I think that's an excellent question. I'm not going to lie to you. There were periods where I did say to myself, is he really showing exactly what we recruited? Because what the last when he was at managerial level in terms of being employed, that was back around the 2006 2007 period. That's well over a decade ago. Isn't that nearing 20 years? 20 years ago, since he was in the driving seat at the international level, not where club is concerned. Club football and international football, you're dealing with different complexities to work with, but where managerial level is concerned. So I'm not sure if he's now. I want to be fair to him, but of course, me in the back of my mind, I'm still hearing some of the stuff that the England fans used to call him. They're not pleasant names, and they, something along the lines of second chance Steve, or something along those lines. They didn't have a pleasant nickname for him. Sorry, Mr. Leader, I had to mute your mic because it's giving me a feedback. So I think when I'm speaking, you might have to just mute your mic because it gives off a little. Thank you. So as I was saying, in terms of Steve McLaren, I'm trying to see that nickname there that the England fans gave to him. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for him.
All my
And
British friends do not like him. All my British fans and friends, my British cousins, my British friends, they were mad when he got appointed, and they're still mad. They just don't like him.
it's I think they called him, second choice Steve, because obviously that's not who the England fans wanted when he was appointed. So yes, that's in the back of my mind as well. And I'm looking at what he's doing, and he is contradicting himself. He has contradicted himself from, I could say, minute one. He's contradicting himself. Say, you're not really selling it to me because you're saying one thing and you're doing another, especially where player call-ups are concerned, because apparently you've set the standard, but you're not living by the standard. You're not living by the standard. So you really do have to question and ask yourself, what is going on?
Can we run through a couple of players that we're just going to look at them? And what people always say is who you're going to replace them with. For Mario Williams, do you think that we can do better than him?
Mario Williams, there's going to be better options out there than Romario Williams, and it's nothing personal, but
Do you
yeah,
think
there is
that's
going
it
to
for
be.
him? Do you think he should be called back?
So I think he should be called back.
I
Wow,
would answer
sound
for me.
harsh,
I would
but
say no. I would say
yeah,
no.
because it's just like I'm struggling to see how his contribution is going to fit into the team.
If
You
it's a
know,
if it's a B game where you're gonna play against, no disrespect, like a lesser team, you can call up like a second string or a third string squad.
this is
Carry,
sorry to interrupt, but this is why I'm hesitant with answering you, because sorry, I had to mute you. This is why I was hesitant, because I'm thinking, yeah, I have to answer the question truthfully. And right now, we just have to be cutthroat. We can't afford to do things from an emotional perspective. So and this is why I was struggling to answer your question, because I was thinking exactly how you was thinking, okay, if it's a friendly, if it's your A team, B team, but it shouldn't be that case. We're not in the position where we're trying to cuddle with our players. It has to be brutally cutthroat from here on out, because we're trying to qualify for the World Cup. So we don't have time to say calling him because he's a good guy, calling him because he's lovely and stuff like that. We just don't have time for that, unfortunately.
So I think the next set of games is probably March or so, right? So some players I think we could use for the B squad or C squad, they're just not up to the level of a national team. And it's just no disrespect. Tariq McGee, you've tried. No. Casey Palmer, well, we don't have anyone to replace him with. We can still use Casey. Kira Anderson, I don't know. I think he's still young, and I don't think he really get a fair chance. Tariq McGee, I think he's got enough chances. Two flashy moves, that's not it. He's what call-ups like for Guatemala, stuff like that.
I'm really sorry to say, I don't mean to be rude, but I did not see Tariq McGee in that game.
No, you're right. He was gone. He was gone.
Sorry, but I didn't see him. I mean,
It was too
and
fast for him. He was gone. His leverage to this
and
thing.
what that substitution of Richard King exploited that is evident of that, because when Richard King came off, I only noticed Tyrek McGee because he was being substituted, not to be disrespectful, but I didn't know that he was on the field until I realized, oh, there's a substitution King coming in. And the first interaction there with King, it was so potent that it really did expose what Tariq McGee was not doing. He came in and he was pulling the strings and he was asking the questions. McGee wasn't doing that.
I need to say this real quick. So for you all who think that, and I have got into a conversation with a guy last night. I have nothing personal against local born players. I don't think Crystal do either. Because we are saying that King played good. We have nothing against Tariq McGee. We're just saying that he's not up to this level. I have nothing personal against local ball players. No, nothing. He's just not up to this level. King came on and King did good. Fast did great. So I don't want people to say, oh, they hate on McGee because it's local ball. No, stop it. Stop it. That's the talk of many people. So yeah, we have nothing personal against him. Nothing personal against
And
him.
the craziest thing about it, unless I'm getting my maths wrong, but Tariq McGee has been around long enough. So one is assuming that he's younger than Richard King. Richard King came on. Yes, we know what happened leading up to the free kick, whatever. Take that to one side. He did way much more than what McGee did in the first 45. You can't argue with facts. Like, he came on, he was instrumental in that bit of urgency that we saw from the team leading up to Damari Gray's goal. He was knocking on the door. I'm sorry, but Tariq McGee wasn't doing that. I'm sorry, I know people have their favorites, but like I said, like what Mr. Lee said, I could not care less where these players are from. I don't care if they're from the diaspora or if they're from the JPL. It matters not to me. What matters to me is the quality. I don't care where you're from. I just want to know if you're quality or not. If you're quality, yes, you should be in the squad all day long. If you're not quality, for me, I think the issue that a lot of the Jamaica football fans have is that they love to hype up their own, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't take much to impress them. Look a salad here and there, and you all of a sudden you're the nicest thing since sliced bread. Dribble the ball and your head top down the flank. All of a sudden you're the next Ronaldinho. It's like there's more to it than that. And you only need to do that perhaps at schoolboy level, and they're dubbing you as the next Messi, the next Ronaldinho, the next this, the next that. So in some sense, the fans have to take ownership for the fact that they hype up these ballers, and when they don't come to fruition, you end up being disappointed. But be disappointed with yourself, because it's you that's attaching inaccurate labels to these guys.
I gotta say something. There is a player that's linked, and I'm not gonna call names because with me now, I don't get hyped until I see that player in the jersey on the bench. Another player that's linked. But guess what? It's a defender. I know some of the defenders are struggling. The area where we need people is midfield and strikers. Why are we still running like I don't? Now, I'm not believing everything I heard, right? But we need strikers. We need midfielders. Why we still bringing in more defenders? No, it can never be too much, right? I think we should have 4 players in every position fighting for that spot. Fighting. If Leon Bailey is not sure of his game, I think he play better. What do you think? If he's not sure of his starting spot, he will have, look, you have to earn that spot. And if you don't play good on the
I like your question. I think you might have to mute up there, Mr. Lee. Thank you. I like your question. I'm trying to think which one to answer. Okay. Okay. So the defensive bit, that's a very good point to touch on. At some point, you've got to just put a cap in it. You got to put a cap in it because you're not playing to our natural born attributes in terms of our athleticism, what separates us from the rest of the world, and so on. And McLaren touched on that. He touched on the fact that Jamaicans are an athletic, have that natural athleticism, and he wants to exploit our wingers and so on. He touched on it. I think it was not for this press conference this time round, but I think it was for the last month's press conference where he touched on it, or the last winter's press conference. But in terms of what we can see, we're not exactly exploiting that to a great extent, in my opinion. Probably we've done it here and there, but not repeatedly. And perhaps that's probably where we need to look at the players and ask questions to the players. If we look at this second leg against the United States last night, I'm more looking at the players as opposed to coaching. Definitely looking at the players, because you don't need the coach to tell you certain things, and I'll continue until Mr. Lee comes back. You don't need the coach to tell you certain things. So, for example, in terms of the players there, where I'm talking about coaching, as I said, simplicity is great in a number of different aspects. Less is more. It does work to a great effect. But one of the things that these guys weren't doing, where I'm saying to myself, this is not a coaching issue. This is a you issue. This is the whole cool cat attitude that a lot of the players have, where you're not doing the simplest of things. So, for example, throughout various periods of that game, heavily in the first 45. The reason why we were out of our depth and out of touch is because they weren't doing the simplest of things. One of the things that they weren't doing was checking their shoulders. So by the time they do their shoulder check, it was almost as if the United States were playing a few seconds ahead of us, because by the time they check their right or check their left, Pulisic and Weir are gone. They're on the burnout. They're on the skates. They've skated. They're gone. You can't catch up to them. So just a little things like that. You're not doing your shoulder check. Do you need McLaren to come and wipe your ass for you? No, you're grown men. You don't need McLaren to tell you to check your bloody shoulders. That for me is not a coaching issue. That's a you issue. That's not even at schoolboy level. Schoolboys are checking their shoulders. You're not checking your shoulders. By the time you check your shoulders, you're left for dead. So again, players got to take accountability into their own hands. Players have to look at themselves, because at this point in 2024, with what we see in athletics, this encounter between Jamaica versus the United States should either be or one of CONCACAF's toughest athletic matchup. Right, but it's not. Athletics speaks volumes in terms of our natural athleticism and how we compete and so on. But it's not like that. You don't need McLaren and his coaching staff to put a stick up your backside for you to get going. Like, find that dog in you, because the Americans find it each and every time. You're not finding it, and I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for you, because what we're seeing is not enough.
So you touched on something too. I was talking to someone earlier. I'm sorry to cut you. And they was talking about, you have the star player. You should know where they were at all times. Pulisic keep on getting away from his man. He don't have a clue where he was. Right? And you're right. Right there should be a lot of finger pointing at each other. The coach and all of them. That's the coach of it. There should be a lot of finger pointing. Who's marking who? Think of this. You play Michael Jordan, and he's behind you. Your eyes should be on him at all times. Right?
But Mr. Lee, Now, I don't know if you played football, but I've watched football long enough. Obviously, I don't play football. I don't think at this level, I do agree that McLaren got a lot of things wrong. But what I'm saying is there's certain players definitely should hold themselves accountable
No,
because
I agree
you
with
do
you.
not.
I'm agreeing with
y-
you. I'm
No, no, no.
agreeing with
I'm echoing what you're saying. I saw a comment here. Pick up yourself, Tasia Scott. Um, so to answer Tasia Scott's comments, I do not think you need the coach to tell you to do the simplest things. I don't think you need the coach to tell you to man mark. You go back and watch that game, particularly in the first 45. Our players were not man marking. Our players were giving United States acres of yard. They were giving them yards of space.
He was
If you look at
embarrassing.
if you look at Pepe's goal and you look at the space around Pepe, you'll be banging your head against the wall. So yes, it's been about 4 games or so since the United States put more than one goal past or a net, something of that stats. But at the end of the day, players just like coach have to take accountability for this one because what we saw, yes, coaching, McLaren, backroom staff is an issue, but the players are a massive issue as well.
Yeah. And they have to take they have to take like come on, man. There's Pulisic right there, he's hungry. What's his name? Just hit the post. Like there's one side just open, just open, just open, just open, just open. We let's get the grading, Crystal. Um how would you grade the goalkeeper?
Goalkeeper, I love this question. I love this question. Let me just get my charger. I don't want the same thing to happen like the last time. Here's my thing with here's my thing
So did
with
you fix it, right?
I'm not going to lie to you. I have no reason to lie to you. I fixed it, but I'm not Bob the Builder, so I'm sure it's gonna break again. I did the best I can.
Have you been using it since?
Yes, I have. It's
Okay,
been
so it's
doing the
good
job.
then. Good.
It's been doing the job. I'm gonna have to move myself quickly.
Take your time.
Sorry.
Take
So
your time.
thank you. To answer your question, Andre Blake, the skipper, the captain, did not have a good game from Andre Blake last night, and I'm gonna try and be fair with Andre Blake, and it's something that I will reiterate. Something that I have reiterated with Andre Blake a number of times, in the sense that your goalkeeper is only as good as your defense. Right, I think your goalkeeper is only as good as your defense. And if we go back and look at a couple of those goals there, especially when you're talking about a deflection there from Deshaun Bernard, I can't necessarily blame Blake for that. I think these guys are making some very cowardly mistakes. And at this level, I'm not really sure, why are you here? If you're going to be playing like that, why are you here? Why are you there? Because it's almost as if it's self-infliction. It's in self-inflicted wound. You're wounding yourself. United States are not wounding us, like we are like literally harming ourselves. So Andre Blake didn't have a great game yesterday. Yes, he should have done better. He's our captain. He's familiar to these players, been in the system long enough. But again, for me to be 100% truthfully critical of his analysis, you got to sort out that back line. You got to sort out that back line, because you put one of the world's best keepers in between our sticks, and they'll probably be made to feel embarrassed, because the defense there is just woeful and shocking at best. So for me, yes, I do understand the criticism of Andre Blake, but before I can
But
even look
I
at
wouldn't
Blake,
blame
I
him.
need to look at
I'm
the
gonna rate
defense.
him a 6. I'm gonna rate him a 6.5.
That's
6.5 to 7.
fair. That's fair.
I'm not gonna blame him for that. His defense was terrible. The first goal, he saw the open space, and yes, he tried to close down. I'm not gonna blame him. How do you grade Kevin Gray?
Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. Wow. Tavon Gray. Oh my God. Oh wow. Nothing personal, Tavon Gray, but oh my God, I'll probably give him a 2.
Yeah, he's another one too that maybe is not. Maybe we don't see him again.
Yeah, I'll give him a
Maybe we don't
2.
see him again. He's another one too. Him, I gave him a 2.5, 3.
Hmm.
Right. Defense. Amari Bell.
Amari Bell, another player that was missing. Didn't really see much of Amari Bell. Probably need to go back and watch the game. Maybe a 3.5.
I was settle for a 3 also. Here's why. If your midfield is overrun, your defense has a lot of work to do. Damian Lowe.
Damian Lowe. Damian Lowe, interesting. He did a few good bits, Damian Lowe. I don't think he was as bad as maybe someone making him out to be. But at the end of the day, here's where I'm critical of Damian Lowe, and this is why I can't rate him for this game too highly. Damian Lowe, clearly you can see that Tavon Gray needs help. And it is your responsibility, Damian Lowe, because you are also our vice captain and you're the closest man to him in terms of defensive partnership. So
But
you
if
should
Lowe is gonna be open up. That's what happened.
no, but what I am saying is because of exactly what you've just pointed out, it goes back to my first point where Leon Bailey had to go back there to help him. So this is what you're saying is an interesting take, but we can't afford to think like that because we're not a wonderful football team. We have so many different flaws that people in our team cannot afford to say it's every man for themselves. You've got to help out your teammates because we are woeful. We've got to every man have to help out. Yes, do your role because that's what you're there for, but help out your teammates as well. You can't leave them. When you leave them, you're going to leave them for dead, just like what happened to
But
Tavon
the
Gray.
coach didn't realize that Tavon Gray was struggling. That they was
He was
going down
struggling.
that
He
plan
was struggling from the whistle
and
blew.
trying to
He
fix it.
was on the
So what
ropes.
grade would you give Lowe? What grade would you give Lowe?
Great, low 4.5.
I'm thinking the same thing, 4.5 or 5. He did,
5 if I'm being very
he did some good
generous.
stuff out there.
He did do some good stuff, but he's the
And
vice
the
captain.
midfield was just open up and just loose on him, right? So
Yeah.
we cover that. We're gonna come now to Latibody. What would you give Latibody?
Latibade, this is probably one that I need to go back and watch, but I didn't feel his presence. I didn't notice Latibade. So maybe I will give him, maybe I'll give Latibade maybe a 2.5. I didn't notice him. Sorry.
See, okay, I differ because I was watching him. He was doing a lot of dirty work, and I will give him a 6. As a matter of fact, his ratings is 6 point something, right?
6 point something.
Yes, his ratings. I will give him a 6. He was doing a lot of dirty work, tackles, and doing all that stuff. But they need to stop playing in other positions.
How long was he doing that for? First 45, second 45?
I think the second half he became much better too, but he was doing some stuff. I think the first goal, I think one of the goal can have something to do with it too. But he's not a passer. He's like a disruptor. You know what I mean? Like to
So
stop the
you
play.
need a player that's going to complement him then.
Yes, but you don't expect a goal pass from him, right? But
Yeah.
he breaks up the play and do all that kind of stuff. Like if you have a Damien Lowe in the midfield, that's what he does. But don't expect a pass from Damien Lowe. It's not a midfielder pass ball.
You need an out and out midfielder for that, don't you?
Yeah, we don't, and then the coach have 7 defenders, 6 defenders out there. So nothing but the rating. I think I'll give him a 6.
I trust your judgment on him because, like I said, I didn't see him, so maybe my my rating is definitely
him and
way
Bobby
off
Reed and
guard.
Antonio, those guys.
Yeah.
Greg Lee too. That's a hard work out there, man.
I'll leave you. I'll trust your verdict over mine. I'm giving your explanation of
we come to
of-
Tariq McGee. What do you give Tariq McGee?
I did not notice Tariq McGee at all. Maybe a 1.5. Sorry to upset people, but I did not notice. I did not know Tariq McGee was playing, so my 1.5 is generous. So I did not notice
gets
that
a
he was
2
on the
from me.
field.
Tariq McGee gets a 2. All right, and he was MIA. The game was too fast for him. He was lost. He was lost in emotions, translation. everything he was gone. Isaac Hayden.
Isaac Hayden, he made the assist to Damari Gray, the opening goal, didn't he?
No, it was Leon Bailey.
Was it Leon? Are you sure? So why was Hayden? What did Hayden do
He
towards?
just played good.
No,
So
no,
the
for
pass
the
that
opening
Leon
goal.
Bailey passed
For
on
for the
Leon
for
Bailey.
the opening goal. I thought
Yeah.
it was Leon Bailey, but the stats were saying Isaac Hayden.
No, it was Leon Bailey that made that cut and passed the ball to Isaac Hayden.
That's what I thought, but for some reason it was saying
No, but his
it was
stats was higher
saying
than
Leon
everybody.
Bailey.
His stats was high next to Gray. Damari
Okay,
Gray.
I'll allow his stats was higher than Damari Gray. I'll allow you to rate Isaac
No.
Hayden.
His stats was high. His stats was next behind Damari Gray. Because Damari Gray have an 8.22 ratings.
Oh, obviously because of his the two
The
goals
two
there,
goals.
right?
And
I
Isaac
mean,
Hayden was the next person behind him with a 6 point something or close to 7. And then Lati Bodier.
this is where the stats is a little bit flawed, in my opinion, because no, I mean,
Yeah. I
Damari
don't think
Gray.
the reason why what's the name get an 8 because he scored those 2 goals. If he didn't score those 2 goals,
Nah,
he get
yeah,
a 5
it's not
or
an
4.
8. Even with the 2 goals, I'm sorry. I mean,
I
we
still
love
don't give him an
Damari
8.
Gray, but
I
he's not.
still don't give
That
him
was
an
not
8.
8. That was
I still
not.
don't give him an 8.
Yeah, I'm not
Still
giving him
give
an
him
8.
an 8.
But
But Isaac Hayden's score is up there. I mean, this guy is a worker. Isaac Hayden was doing his thing. He was doing his thing.
I mean, I thought Bailey gave it the assist because of the celebration, but when I was doing my reading back the game, it was saying that Isaac Hayden got the assist.
Maybe it's for the second goal that Sifa struck across. He came off and probably came up.
The first one, definitely not the second one. The
I
first
think the
one.
first one was Bailey that cut.
That's what I thought, but either or, I'll allow you to rate
Yeah.
Isaac Hayden. I trust your rating on Isaac
Yeah,
Hayden.
and Isaac Hayden was the second game, man. The man is just doing his work, man. He's doing his thing. Isaac Hayden he's doing his thing. That's what we need this guy. He's doing his thing. Leon Bailey, I would personally give Bailey a 3 point something for his status, for his caliber, and what he's supposed to be doing. And he needs to wake up. Bailey gets a solid 3. A solid, even though he did that assist, I give him a 3.5. And he needs to do better. Give Bailey a 3.5.
I think a 3.5 is fair. I was gonna push for a 3.5 when you said free. I was gonna say go for a 3.5 because he was doing defensive duties, especially in the first 45. You know, he was helping out Tevon Gray, but hey, look.
So I guess we've been fair or honest today. A 3.5. We thinking the
I
same
think
thing.
a 3.5 is, and the reason why I'm saying 3.5 is because I have greater expectation of Leon Bailey. So if I'm saying a 3.5, it's not because I think you are worth 3.5 or value at 3.5. I expect way more than that, but I respect the fact that he was doing his defensive duties, you know, particularly in the first 45.
Everybody else was doing defensive duty because I noticed I want when the US lose the ball, even when they were in Jamaica, everybody get behind the ball. Everybody get behind the ball. Everybody find.
I think they were doing that this time. I think. Sorry to interject. I think for this game, they were playing like a few seconds behind the USA, if that makes sense.
US came out the ball. All right. So the next player, and I think we're not gonna agree on this one, is Damari Gray. I'll let you go first.
My God, Damari Gray. Context is so
Stat
key.
has him at 8 point something.
No, he's not. We're not giving him that. I'm sorry, but he's not getting an 8 point. Yeah, I'm thanks for the brace, but he's not. He did not. He can give you an 8. He can give you a 10 also, but last night was not an 8 or 8.5. Definitely not. I think I might have to give him a 4. I might have to give him a 4. He might have to settle for a 4, 4.5 if I'm being generous, but nowhere near an 8. I'm sorry. Yes, context is key, coming back from an injury. But a bit like when I said not to the extent of Tyrick McGee, but he was missing, and you know, players like Damari Gray, yes, sometimes they have to come and retrieve the ball and take the game to themselves, but also in to counteract that, we have to get the ball to Damari Gray, we have to get the ball to Boza, we have to get the ball to Shamar
Mara Gray
Nicholson and
and
so
Leon
on.
Bailey could not beat them man one-on-one. They couldn't go around nobody. And that
This
was
is what
bad.
this is what I'm saying. Yeah, again, you know, the context is key in terms of coming back from injury and all that. But for what we know of Damari Gray, that was just not a 8.5 or 8.6, whatever he's rated. What did I rate him? I think I rated him max of 4, and that's just because of the brace. Did nothing that game. You're muted.
It's because of those 2 goals. He found himself in the position. And these guys should be doing better. They're the marquee players. They should be doing better. They should be doing
100%.
better. They should be doing better. Huh?
100%. 100%. I
They
agree.
should be doing better. I don't want no excuse from nobody. Oh, he scored 2. Yes, he scored 2 goals. That's what he's there for. Right? That's what he's there for. He should score. I'm not blaming him for the penalty he missed. No, he should score. And so when he does good, we have to give it to him. He came in, when he came for us, he was running, doing his thing, and doing his thing. Right? But I don't know if he's hurt or whatever, but he's just not the same person. I'm glad he scored, and I want him to keep it up for us. I love the guy. I like his, but we need to keep it up. So I give him a 5.5. Yeah, 5.5. We're gonna
You're
move
generous. You're more
yeah,
generous than me.
because of the 2 goals. I'm not giving he's not getting no 8 points from me. No way. He doesn't
No,
deserve
no,
it.
definitely not.
There's
Definitely
no way
not.
that. The next player that I'm gonna look at is Nicholas. I'll let you go first.
Jesus, that was not a good game from Nicholson. That was not a good game. Um, that was not a good game. I will give him a listen. He didn't do what he's supposed to do. He didn't do what's supposed to. He's a striker. I'm expecting you to put the ball in the back of the net. You didn't do what's on the tin. So I'm gonna have to give him a 3. Sorry if that's a bit harsh, but I'm gonna have to give him squandered a couple opportunities. Yes, I like the fact that he was trying to galvanize the team, but he didn't do what's on the tin, which is to put the ball in the back of the net.
I'll give him a 5. And the
A
reason why I give him a
5.
5
That's
because of his
generous.
work rate.
You're more generous than myself.
And I explain why I do that. When I see him running and he's running hard and he's doing his thing, I kind of add a little factor to that, right? When I see somebody who just, I don't know what type Maggie was doing. I cannot tell you what Maggie was doing. But I see Bosa was out there trying. He was really, really trying. He was trying. Now, I think that segment is answered, but here's my, I want to get into, I have another 25 minutes. But I want to get into this with you now. Goals win game, am I correct? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Goals win game, right? Would you agree with me that we're lacking in that part?
Lacking in, yeah, it's you'd be a madman not to think that we lack those clinical prowess.
Okay. Do we have a striker that can take on people, destroy them, and go score?
I love
At
this
this
question.
level.
I
At this
love this.
level.
I love this question because, oh my God. Currently, based on what we're seeing with this crop of players, the answer would be no. But if you're looking at things from context perspective, maybe we're being a tad bit unreasonable, right? Because for the player in mind to do what you're asking them to do, they have to have the appropriate players around them, because they're not going to be doing that every single game unless they're a world beater. Do we have a world beater in our squad in terms of the forward or striker? No, we don't. We don't. But even with a world beater, they're going to be getting frustrated because we're seeing some subpar players around our striker and forward position.
Okay. So
Mm.
let me rephrase that a little bit. The players that we have that's supposed to be taking on players and going to the goal, they're not doing it.
No, they're not.
Boza is not a one-on-one strike. I think he's a box guy. He gets the ball in the box and will do damage. Leon Bailey is not doing that for country. He's doing it for club. Demari Gray has the ability and he's good. What we're lacking is that first, like you used to watch Ricardo Funo.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yes, for Stoke,
we need
absolutely.
someone like him that could have a defender looking for his mom and pop when he's gone. We don't have a striker like that no more. Even though the game is
No.
not being played like that no more, right?
Yeah.
We really don't have that person to take you on and destroy you. No, Leon Bailey came, but as you touch Leon, so he falls. As you touch Leon, he said, "Oh, he fall." I call him Leon falling. He's always falling. Mikel Antonio now. I'm coming for him too. Mikel Antonio. And this is the maybe you probably disagree on this. I think we should play to Mikel Antonio's strength since we don't have them forward like a Pulisic. Here's why I'm saying that. Every year you heard that he's gonna leave West Ham, they're gonna push him out. Guess what? He's still starting for West Ham with a new coach. That coach must see something in him. You see what I'm saying? He's still starting for West Ham. And I think Mikel Antonio needs to be better, but he doesn't have the service, he doesn't get the service. The ball doesn't come over in the box. When Al Gibson was playing, if you look at Mikel Antonio goals that he scored and the service in the box, Al Gibson, he was getting no service in the box. So if we play the ball to Mikel Antonio, you hold it up, and you hold it up, the Marlon Gray and Leon Bailey running to, you see what I'm saying? You feed off each other. It could work. Stuff like that could work since we don't have this flashy forward. But if West Ham coach is a new coach, can still start Mikel Antonio and playing him for 70 minutes, will just tell you that there's something still in the guy. What's in that?
I know, I actually agree with you, but what's the system? What system would you use to bring out the best of the Mikel Antonio there? Because you do have to like handle him with care because of age in mind, potentially. I'm not saying you want to wrap him in cotton wool, but you don't want to put him at risk of overplaying him, subsequently leading to injuries and so on. But you do want to have the right qualities around him to complement his play, because I agree with you. This is something I've touched on with Mikel Antonio in terms of he has sent a couple guys at West Ham packing. Next year would make it a decade since he signed with the Hammers. And he's just entering into the final stage of his contract. Remains to see if they will extend on that. But he has I think Danny Ings is currently still at West Ham, but even before Danny Ings, players have come and gone, like your Arnautovic, your Perez, your Chikorita, your Sebastian Haller, and he has still managed to hold his own when a lot of people thought that the dust is settled and he's going to be going and marching on. So yeah, I do think there is still quality there that Mikel Antonio can bring to our team, but it's just about how do you bring out that quality. If you can't bring out the quality, it's just going to end up being dead wood to us.
And this is why we pay a coach to figure that out. This is why we have a coach to figure it out. How you can get the best out of Mikel Antonio. How you can get the best out. Oh, damn, forgot. We forgot to rate one player before we come back to this.
Who's that? Oh, Cephas. I feel like, can we really rate him though, considering that he came on as a substitute?
Yeah, we
Same
have to.
goes.
Because
Same.
he came on for a good while and he also contributed to a goal. He come in and he changed up things a bit. The committee was like, this
Yeah,
guy's
he
giving them
did.
problems.
He
Cephas
did.
gets a solid 6.
You giving a 6?
I tell you
can
why I give him a 6.
Okay.
Antonio Robbins is the fastest guy. Antonio have 3 steps on Cephas and Cephas run past him. Right? His ball sense is a little bit gone. He's not the clinical person, right? Well, the second goal came from him, came from his strike across the goal. Now the keeper couldn't hold it; he has to push it, right?
Yeah.
And he gave them a couple of problem well. And so he came on and he did. Even people that didn't like him start calling for him because they realize that this guy can get better. The right coach and he can be better, right? So Cephas gets a 6 from it. He come in and he do more than Bailey the little time he came on.
If you're
Would you
giving,
agree that?
if you're giving, I can see your argument. I'm not going to take it away from you. But if you're giving Cephas a 6, I'm going to match it and say Richard has to get a 6 as
Oh,
well.
Richard King get a 6. Talented. But
Yeah,
man, we forgot to grade him too. We forgot to grade
yeah,
him.
because I thought that you wasn't doing the grades for the
No, we forgot to grade him. Greg Lee, I think he gets a 4 because he was working hard. He just came on as a hard worker. But
Yeah.
King gets a solid 6. Cephas gets a solid 6. This is what I want to see the local ball players come out and fight and hold on a spot. You understand? Now the
Yeah.
next game, King is gonna be like, oh, King is in the running. He did good. He did
You would
good.
think so. You would think so. You would think
Yes,
he's in the
well,
running.
okay, hope his coach is there because they call it for his head. You know, who knows? But I'm saying this to you now. Back to Michael Antonio. We have Michael Antonio, Boza, I don't know what Stephen. You know, these guys are forwards and wingers. Boza and Antonio, they don't complement each other. I think they play to the very same style. Everybody
No,
was
they
complaining that
don't. They really don't. They really don't.
I'll
Big up
give you
yourself, Ball Pre TV. If you guys are not familiar with Ball Pre, then do go over and check him out on his YouTube channel. Hit the like and subscribe button and show him
I
some
actually do
support.
watch him. I do watch him.
Yeah, so yeah, give him some support, guys.
Yeah, I will. So I'm saying this to you now, to get the okay, we have that problem, Crystal. What is your suggestion? We do need strikers. Mason
We
Green is
do.
not here. He's not here, right? He's not here. So we can't talk about him. He's not here. There's a guy called Mothersill. I heard he's doing pretty good. But I said this to you. I heard about these players, and when they come, we look at them like, what the hell? I heard of Casey Palmer, heard of Greg Lee. You heard of this player, that player, this player, that player.
You know what our problem is, Mr. Lee? The problem is we don't have standards. We just don't have standards. That's one of our main. Until we apply our standards, we're going to be in quicksand, and that's a dangerous game. Set yourself some standards and work to your standards. That's one of the things that we are just not doing when we don't have no standards. Anyone can come and join us, but especially if you play overseas. And I don't have an issue with overseas players. It's not me bashing overseas players, but clearly overseas players have a preferential treatment. Once you're in overseas, especially God forbid if you're in the Premier League, yep, come on board. If you're
I
playing
think that ship has
in
sailed now, though. I think that ship has sailed now.
I
They're
don't
trying to
think
do the
so.
right recruiting. They're trying to do the right recruiting. And even before that, though, there were some players who want to come when they were young, and the JFF turned them down. And later on, they
I
become
don't think it
superstars.
is. I think there's a preference there, and nothing is wrong with recruiting in the English diaspora. Nothing is wrong with that. But listen, just because you play your trade in the English Football League, that doesn't mean that you are of the required standard.
Yeah,
Now, what
no, that's
is the
true.
required standard? I don't know what the required standard is because we don't have one. We don't have a
That's true.
required standard.
That's true. But here's the next thing now. I'm going to say this now. I think the ship for you that's being overseas and come, that ship has sailed. It's past. We just need to do the right recruiting, make sure that people come and play, not just when it's a big game, right? You have to learn to
Really
come when
believe
they're
that
going to.
though? Do you really believe that though? Given what and it's not about throwing players under the bus, but given recruitments, do you truly believe that, or are you willing to like give yourself some more time?
All right. In what question? You mean by that just anybody can come from England no more?
No, not just England, but just in general, with the let's say call-ups are concerned, right? Because
Oh no, that's stop. Here's why I know, and I will
mm,
tell you why I know.
mm,
For several reasons, they stopped. They when Hal Grimson came, and they gave him all the players that played for the national team in the last 5 years. It's close to 150 players, or a lot. Like it's close to. It was like that's too much. You cannot have you cannot have no chemistry with this, right? He pointed that out, even though I'm not a fan of him. There's a lot of players that are trying, even some players even want to get their own passport. That's how bad they want to come, and they look past them. It's like the coach doing the recruiting. I know someone who's doing the recruiting. I'm not gonna call his name, and I know some stuff before it happened. Some players before they come. I know Isaac Hayden was coming. I know Mr. Holgate was coming before he even comes because I have a link. But there's players out there that are contacting him because he has a link to well, he recruits for the JFF and they choose the player. The thing is that you tell the player, I can't get you to play. It's the coach's decision. You see what I'm saying? But I can show you how to get your passport when you get in contact with the JFF. If so be the case, I think Steve McLean would just be bringing everybody over. He's trying to do the right recruitment. But the people he wants, these are the ones that England wants, that actually want to play for England.
the reason why I'm saying it's not necessarily about, I know I used the English Football League as an example, but the reason why I'm saying it's not necessarily about the English diaspora, just in general, is because for what it's worth, what we saw. Let's just focus on last night's game of what we saw, right? Without naming couple players, name and throwing players under the bus. But let's look. Are you really telling me now? I don't watch the JPL religiously, but I am going to put some respect on the JPL. Are we really going to say that there's no more players in the J player aside from a Richard King that could come on and complement what we've got rather than relying on our diaspora? And I'm not trying to start a diaspora war. Again, I don't care where you come from, so long as you have a certain level of quality. As we said, there's levels to this. When I'm talking about quality, I'm talking about when the likes of Damari Gray came into the team and he fitted in like a missing puzzle. That for me is a standard bearer, right? So that's what I'm saying. Do we not, for the time being, can we not take a look at the JPL and say, okay, who can we bring from the JPL to add to what we've got?
To be honest with you, I don't watch most of the games, but from what I know from most people, it is the level is just not it's worse than Emirates, right? Now
Okay, but
you will find one or two players who you could try to work with, but they're just not up to the level. Now King,
but some of the guys in our team are not up to that. They're not better than JPL guys, if we're being honest with you. For what it's worth, so some of the stupid mistakes that we have seen, there's no way not you per se, but there's no way that
and
people
that
can
is
argue and say that they're
exactly the
better than
argument plenty
JPL
of people are
players.
saying. That's
No, they're
exactly why
stupid.
they call for Maggie. That's exactly what, and you're right. You're right. Some of these players
Stupid.
that we get, they're not. So you are so right. You are so right,
There
Sister.
can't be. The thing is, Mr. Lee, you people either don't watch the JPL or you just don't respect the JPL. But there's
Some
no
people don't
way.
respect it, period.
They just,
They don't
I
respect
can
it,
respect
period.
you if you say you don't respect it, but I can't have no one try to convince me and say that players in the JPL are not better than some of the players that we see. Because if that's the case, shut down the JPL then.
Um, here's one of the things that, and I'm gonna tell you what the real, honest truth. Our coaching was lacking for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
And so now the last 2 years, we just identify and start to fix this problem, right? So we have to start from the grassroots. Steve just said 4 months ago, he have 500 primary coaches getting their C license. And by next year, all Manning Cup coaches have to have a B license. If you coach in the Premier League, you have to have a B license. I think by the next 2 years, I have to be an A license. So our coaching, so the coaching was bad. All right, look, why you think Tariq Magee did not make it? It's not. Tariq is a good player. It's coaching failed. Tariq Magee did it. Coaching failing. And so I mark my words. The next 2 years, there's gonna be better players coming out of Jamaica Premier League because the coaching starts to get better, right? Do you know when I'm talking to some of these players that's playing in national team? Do you know who their first coach was? A physical education coach for the first until they were like 15, 16. You so they lost a lot of education right now. But I say this to you, you're right. Some of these players that come over, they not know better. They just doesn't look like any better. And so this is why people in the island are saying that we have an overseas ball player and they don't see no difference, right? So you're right. But I think that ship has sailed for any player that can come from anywhere now. Do you know what the court said a few weeks ago when they asked him what was he doing? What is he doing when he's not in Jamaica?
What did he say?
He's on his computer, covering players of Jamaican heritage all over the world, every league. He has a thing, I think it's to FIFA, whatever it is. And so he know where all the Jamaican players around the world, US, Canada, Sweden, everywhere. And he said as soon as every game is finished, he gets to watch it back. So he sits and watch probably 5, 6 games per day and more. But to me, he needs to be on the island. To me, he needs to be on the island scoring the Premier League. Stop saying I'm Maran God and tell me about that. That's bullshit. Excuse my language. Don't tell me Maran
100%.
God and point this player out to you now. It's time you know the damn player. It's time. I don't know what deal that him and Steve have, but he's not living in Jamaica. He's not setting up. I don't know. We don't know what his contract is, right? We don't know. But Crystal, he should be in the island identifying talent, setting up. So if a JPL player comes in the team, they know exactly what his system is, right? In January, when these MLS players out, there should be a camp, right? I really don't know what the deal of his contract is, and it's killing me. I don't know about you.
I think you might have to ask your contact what the contract situation is. You're in a much
Nobody knows. It's just between Speed and Chung. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
okay, top
So
secret
when
stuff then.
they asked this question several times, and every time they ask, and so he's now he's on a suitcase. But I think at least a month he should be in the island. He should be in the
100%.
island. Oh,
100%.
Maran Garden tell me about that play. It's time that nonsense stop now, Crystal. It's time it stop.
No, he
That's some
should be
foolishness.
on the island. I definitely agree with you. He definitely should be on the island. I'm about to close off
Yeah.
because I am freezing. I don't know. Clearly, you're not cold in the States. What part of the
Oh
States are
no,
you
I'm in
in?
Florida. Usually I'm outside in t-shirt. I'm
Oh
inside
wow.
in
Well, I
t-shirt.
am freezing. What time is
Yeah,
it?
in
It's like
t-shirts and stuff right now. Talk to my
4:33 a.m. I am
yeah, it's
freezing. I've
3
been
a.m.
cold the
Okay.
whole day.
Yeah,
It would help
man.
if I think I really need to like invest in some hoodies because my issue is I have a lot of like summer clothes.
Oh
It's just
no,
always
girl. You
been
need
something
hoodies.
that's just
I'm
always
just
been me, not deliberately, but I just always have summer clothes and I need to invest in some hoodies because
oh girl.
I'm freezing, So I'm
So every time I
freezing.
go up north, I have to have hoodies. I have several hoodies. Even though I live
Yeah, I
here,
need I need to invest in some hoodies.
I got such
I
a
did
place
what I
too.
told you. I remember I told you I need to get like a hat and some gloves. So I managed to
Yeah,
order my hats and my gloves.
you need to
'Cause I
work
went
on
out.
that there.
Yeah, I went out the other day and it was blitz and apparently there's already people already seeing snow, which I predicted would happen. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Um
you start getting snow already. Oh, that's not.
yeah, we
Ooh.
started getting snow.
Ooh.
Big up yourself, Conrad,
Well, we
in the
just in
comment
November,
section.
man.
It's cold. Remember, I told you that I think we're going to be getting
Yeah.
snow. Like we
Mm.
end up getting snow.
That's one of the reasons why I moved down here because I lived in up north for 30 years and I deal with the winter, but I go back and forth still. But I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm not showing off though.
So
All
yeah,
right,
I
big
mean,
bro. It
I
was a good
I
show
would
tonight.
You know, thank you for blessing me with your time. I definitely
No
don't take
problem, man.
time
Yeah,
for
you know, once a month, I'm not doing anything. It's cool. But we do. I'm gonna talk to you about my organization I'm in. We're doing something for the girls. You know, we're gonna do some donation for the girls.
Oh, please,
Again, and
I would love to know more about that.
so I'm gonna give you a call. Probably give you a call probably Sunday and tell you a
Perfect,
little bit
perfect,
about it. All right, and talk to you about it.
perfect.
In the
I'm gonna
meantime,
hold
enjoy
you
your
to
evening.
it, Mr. Lee. I'm gonna hold you to that,
Yeah,
okay?
man, definitely, man. All
All
right,
right, Mr. Lee. All
enjoy
right.
your
God
evening.
bless. Take care of you and your family, okay?
Yeah, man. All right, one
All
love.
right. Bye-bye. All right, guys, I'm going to have to end because I'm freezing. You can see what I'm wearing. It's not warm, is it? So I'm cold, and I think you guys know me by now. I'm also hungry, so I'm going to go and grab myself something to eat. I don't know where all the people have just suddenly piped up from. Big up yourself, Danny Dread, Conrad, big up yourself. All the guys in the comment section, big up to you guys for showing me some love and support. Big up to Mr. Lee from coming on the live stream with me. He's definitely helped me to stay focused because I don't think I could have done tonight's live stream without him. Danny Dread, would love to have you on the show at some point. Ball Pre said send the link. Is that to tonight's show? Because I'm literally about to like close off. I'm literally about to close off. But I can send you a link to another live stream. It's only because I am freezing. It's almost 4:36 in the morning. I'm on low battery as well, but I would love to yeah, we can jump on each other's live stream. Just let me know when you're ready, and we can jump on each other's live stream. Maybe I can have you on the next live stream. But yeah, guys, I'm going to have to like love you and leave you. And yeah, Danny Dread, Conrad, all the rest of the guys in the comment section. I've been trying to get Mr. Scott to come on my live stream for forever, and it's not working. DC as well, I think the only woman in the comment section. Would love to have you on my live stream. We are not good every play overseas. We not good every player overseas. What we have is better than our JPL. I disagree on that. I would love to get in a boxing match with you on that. No, not every player. Like, I don't watch the Jamaica football Premier League religiously, but not every player from overseas is better than the JPL players. That's a fact. They look like Bambi on ice, couple of the players that we've got in our team at the moment, and that's no disrespect to them. I'm gonna have to love you and leave you guys. I'm cold and hungry. So I need to go stuff my face, and I also need to go and get warm before I end up catching a cold. So to you guys there in the comment section, I hope to catch you on my next live stream. Before I forget my manners, thank you to you guys there in the comment section. Thank you for showing my show some love and support. Your support does not go unnoticed. If you're new to the channel, I do hope that you've gone ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you haven't hit the like button, what are you waiting on? Please do go ahead and hit the like button. So to recap, the Reggae Boyz have left it too little too late. And subsequently what that meant was we exited the Concacaf Nations League at the quarterfinal stage, being defeated 5-2 on aggregate at the hands of the United States. Maybe it was predicted by many. My friend actually predicted 5 goals for the United States. So he seemed to be, I don't know, maybe as a crystal ball somewhere. I don't know. But yes, I'm going to have to love you and leave you and close off. Go and get myself warm and go stuff my face. Ball Pre TV again. Would love to have you on my next live stream. Sorry that I'm about to end it. But I do hope to see you on my next live stream. All right, guys. So I will see you in a short while. So take care. Until next time.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.